Hey tag team, Allison Roberts here, and I am back with another tag. Tag means talk about grace. Today's tag theme is Can You See It? Can you see it? We hear the term used so very often that seeing is believing. And as people of faith, we not to agree with that. You know, if God says it, it's believing, right? But many of us have dreams and visions of, what we want in life. And also many of us are holding on to words that we received from the Lord as it relates to what He has for us and what He has for us to do. The Word of God tells us that, there's a work created for each of us from we were created even before, we were brought into existence. So God no careless. Him have a plan for you. That's why you are still here. But many of us will hold the things in our hearts, but it's flickering. It's getting faint because we can't see it. We can't see it. And seeing it doesn't mean that you have the plan mapped out or you know exactly what the next step is. But seeing is believing comes to play when you think about us having the faith and the hope in what God has said. And kind of can tell what it would look like. God has called you to be a minister of music. What does that look like? Have you ever seen yourself, ministering on stage and praying for others and, just shifting atmospheres? Do you think that you have the gift even to do the basics after singing? Those are the things that we want us to start to see. Seeing is believing comes from a place of us applying our faith. Whatever it is that you actually believe that the Lord is calling you to do, read your word, what God says about the thing or what God says about you, His creation, and start to mull over it into your heart. Have it in your heart, and so that it builds up your most holy faith, so that that flicker of hope that you have for what God has said about you and about what He has for you and what He has for you to do, that it don't die. What does it look like? What do you believe that will give you the motivation to keep pushing? It's not just about, all right, one day in the far, no. How about saying, yes, God, you've called me to do this, and this is who I am, even though when I'm not there yet, this is who I am, and walking like that person, being, of the posture to believe, that which God has said is actually true in your life. Even when you don't see it, it is so. He is the living word that spoke it from the beginning. So if Him says so, I say go. We might not have walked into the truth of that yet. But if God is saying that, you are an intercessor, you are a music minister, worship leader, you are a teacher, you are a banker, CEO, whatever it is. So it doesn't have to be a quote unquote spiritual thing, because the Lord will use it in many spheres. You have to start operate like it. Start positioning yourself. Not to say that you're creating your own links to do what God says, but put yourself in spaces that foster that. If you truly believe it, you're gonna put yourself in spaces that foster that. Get a mentor, a business mentor, if you believe that you'll be a CEO. Go to school. Those little things that kind of adds up. God has given us the natural wisdom to know, what it is that we are to do while He is doing what He's doing. He sets the stage. He creates the atmosphere. He, sets the path before you. But at the same time, He's giving you the capacity to start to prepare. He gives you the know-how for know, so, all right, I might need a little voice lesson if He's saying that I'm going to be a speaker or a singer. Those are the things that we can do in the natural. We'll have to see it. We'll have to see it, because we can have the belief in our hearts and it just sits there and it flickers, you lose hope. But when you start to see it and declare it and apply your faith to it, you become motivated. And especially for those of us who the journey a little longer and the wait is longer, and I do believe that that's why the Lord sometimes gives us words of prophecies to hold on to, because it's not gonna happen in the natural order of things, you know. God might say to you at age 25 that, you know, you're gonna be a mother of multiple children. Oh, you're gonna be a wife. And you're like, yeah, sure. You're 40. And you're like, were they lying? No, the Lord told you so that you can hold on to the word when it look like it not gonna happen again. That is it, you know. Because if it's happening in the natural order, why does he need to give you his word? Yeah, you're 25, you meet somebody 26, you're married 27. Yeah, that's a natural order. So you don't need that word of encouragement to hold on to, because things are happening in natural sequence. So it's like, oh yeah, that's normally how it works. But sometimes when things are out of sequence, you must forget something to hold on to. And even if you never, especially if you never see it for yourself, and he spoke it, and it's been confirmed through his word or whatever other, you know, means as it relates, you know, biblical ways of confirmation only, nothing else. Yeah, once he confirms it, you know that, yeah man, me 40, but if God is said so, me never ask you, God, you tell me. And if he said so, it is so. So we have to see it. We have to see ourselves in the roles that God is calling us to. If you believe that you're a wife, start clean up your house, get things in order, get your outfit for the dating season. You know what I mean? Put yourself together, looking like somebody's wife. You get what I say? So it's preparation in and of itself. And so sometimes we have to really be able to envision it, because if you can't see it, you can't do it, you know. Imagine you going into an exam and you're like, boy, I'm gonna see myself pass this. First of all, your brain done block, and even if you had the capacity to figure things out that you never even know, because that don't register in your head, you reduce your hope so much that, you know, you probably do end up fail because you think it. So let's envision the victory. Let's envision the coming to pass of the word of God over our lives, in our lives, and through our lives. Let us see it. Let us see it if God says it's so. Have an awesome week, team. Blessing.